Welcome back to Coffee with Craner. This is episode 95, and it's an exciting one because these are the youngest guests I've had on the show, and I'm so excited to talk about them. Leave those kids alone. That's who's joining me right now. We have Addie B, Alex, Lewis, Luca, and Timothy all on the line here. So excited to have each of you join the podcast, talk a little bit about how Leave Those Kids Alone started, what's it like being a young musician in Windsor, Essex, who's traveling to hundreds of shows. So I'm very excited for this, and thank you all for being here. Thank you. We'll kick things off. As I mentioned before we jumped on here, I usually ask, where's your favorite place for coffee? But I'm going to assume that most of you do not drink coffee. I hope you don't. I think I saw Lewis have a cup of Joe with him over to the side, but I won't say anything. Where in Windsor, Essex, either coffee or dessert would you usually go? Lewis, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I think the best option here has to be Caffeine & Co. I mean, you can't go wrong with a nice Americano, and they have the best scones in the county. So,
okay, and that's in Amherstburg. So of course it's one of the best. So, how about you, Timothy?
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I am the oldest, and for dessert, I usually go with I usually go to Tim Hortons, get a donut or something, but that's about it.
So you keep it simple.
Yes, always. I'm a simple man.
Simple man. Awesome. How about you, Addie?
I would say probably the Naked Cup, or for like ice cream, like Slinkies or Stop 26.
Okay, so out in the East End, or Riverside area, or even Tecumseh. Let's see, Alex. What are your thoughts? Favorite dessert? Place for dessert?
Well, for me, from Tim Hortons, I really like the maple dip donut when they have that, and a good drink from there. I like the frozen lemonade and hot chocolate.
Awesome, very cool. And Luca, how about you, man?
I have my espresso every morning from my machine, and I have that. That's my go-to. But then if we're going out, it'll be good old Timmy's.
Okay, and you dabble in the coffee, I see.
I do, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Now, just jumping into I would say the real question. Was a little icebreaker there. How did Leave Those Kids Alone start? This is obviously a newer band, and you've been gaining some traction online and performing for hundreds and thousands of people. How did this all start?
Well, me and Tim took music lessons at the same place. We go to Pete Palazzolo's Canadian Conservatory of Music. So I was really young when I met Tim. I was probably about maybe 7. And at first, I was playing drums and he was singing. But then as the years went along, the band sort of just progressed. I moved to guitar. Addie came along. Then 2 years ago, we introduced Lewis and Luca. So just we all now take lessons with Pete, and we all enjoy it very much.
Very cool. You met each other, I guess, in the music scene, not necessarily just going to the same school.
Right. So we all met at the Canadian Conservatory. We all take lessons there now.
All of you? Okay.
Yeah. Lewis, we met through there just years after we had a keyboard player quit. So we met Lewis through the Canadian Conservatory through Pete. And Luca, we met through Lewis's cousin. So, yeah.
Very cool. Small world, and you all obviously work well together. How did you become interested in music? Was it just from taking lessons? I'd be interested to hear how that started. Whoever wants to go, let's see. Lewis, do you want to
take a turn here?
So music somewhat runs in my family, but I really connected with classic rock at a young age. Like, I remember on the weekends when I was little, my dad and we'd drive in a sedan on the expressway, and he'd always have 2 CDs that would play on repeat. And it would be Billy Joel, yes, Tim, Billy Joel, and Foreigner. And, it would be Piano Man and a jukebox here, and we'd flip-flop, A and B, You'd always listen to that. So as I listened to it more, at a young age, I developed, a desire for music because I wanted to be like them. And, yes, I'm a classically trained musician, but I still enjoy that music, right? So, as I got older, I decided I wanted to take lessons at the Canadian Conservatory in Music. And that's where we all take lessons, actually. Peter Palazzolo is our music teacher, great guy. He's done a lot for us. And, I was never really interested in joining a band, but I'd always see LTKA playing at our conservatory, recitals where everyone at the school would play a song. So I'd be done my, piano solo or guitar solo. They're easy pieces, but anyways, I'd get off stage and they'd be on, and I was always thinking, I wish I was in this band, right? I wish I was on stage with them. So then, a couple years later, I received an offer to audition as a new keyboard player for this band. And it was in like late January, Pete was teaching me all the songs I needed to know. And I did an audition a piece. It was actually Hotel California, which isn't really a difficult, piano or keyboard piece to play. So I played like maybe a minute of it, and I sang a bit of it, and then I was accepted into this band. So I'll be honest, I think it was the best thing that's happened to me musically, and I'm forever grateful to have this opportunity to play with family.
And then for me and Addie on that same question, my dad we would always listen to the Beatles and 70s rock and stuff like that. So we always listened to that music and stuff like that. So then I remember seeing a video of Styx playing, and I remember watching their guitar player JY and his I really liked the guitar he had, his Strat. And then once I saw a video of him, I said I want to play guitar. So then me and my sister and my dad would do little videos in the basement together of us just playing songs. And then, there was a guitar player, my dad played keys and, bass, and then we needed a drummer. So Addie did it for us.
That's awesome. How about you, Luca?
Me, very similar. I was always, my parents were always playing classic rock from when I was a young age, when I was young, and it always stuck with me. I always listened to it, and then in the end, I ended up being gifted a bass and started doing lessons with that. And then, it stemmed from there, and now could never imagine where we've gotten with that from the little start.
For sure. And Timothy, how about you?
So I was born in North Bay, which is like 9 hours away. And up there, where we lived anyway, we were like an hour north of North Bay. So like 10 hours away. We only had one radio station, and it was classic rock radio station. So I grew up listening to that. And then we ended up coming back and forth. So always in the car, always in the car. So just ended up listening to that on radio all of the time. And it's kind of the music that I just listened to growing up.
Very cool. And I must say, it's not, I guess it would be more rare now for people your age listening to and also playing classic rock. Most are into pop, like myself. I listen to classic rock, but what I know more of is hip hop and pop music, rap, country, all that stuff. So what do your friends say about that when you're in a band and you're performing classic rock? Do they know what you're playing?
They think they're all our songs. They think we wrote all of them. I'm like, oh, thanks, but no, we didn't.
Yeah, well, once in my case, I invited some friends over to my house, and I put the guitar on, and then I'm just playing some stuff they never heard, and then all of a sudden I played the riff to Thunderstruck, and they're like, oh, because they know the ones like that, but they don't know a lot. And then like I played Sweet Child of Mine, so everyone knows those sort of songs because those are huge. But when it comes to just other rock stuff, they almost don't know at all.
And you must be starting a little bit of a trend at your school where you're seeing young kids your age maybe perhaps starting to get interested in classic rock or listening to your music. Do you see that happening?
Well, sometimes I would see my friends listening to it a bit more because they, I listen to it, or, they listen to the album that we put out, but not really. All of them are sort of hooked on the music for today.
So it'll work in your favor when you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and the people your age don't know much about classic rock, and they'll just start thinking that you performed and you've written all of these songs. So it might pan out for you.
I mean, I will
In the long
say
run.
there's this one person I was talking to them, and they're saying, their favorite band is Styx. And at first, I'm like, okay, they probably know a couple of the songs. And I asked them, I'm like, what's your favorite song out of that? Like, out of all their songs? And they're like, The Best Times. And that's like, it's not a deep cut, but it's definitely not a hit. And I'm like, okay, so maybe some people actually know that music, right? And they know it well. So it made me happy.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed for me, I'm at St. Clair College, and I've noticed that as people have grown and gotten older, I've noticed the appreciation for that kind of music kind of grows as
Yep.
it's just something that I've noticed. Like as people my age are getting older, they're starting to appreciate that more because it's not something that they listen to regularly. So I've noticed that as time goes on, certainly that people are listening to it more and more and more as they grow older.
For sure. And sometimes, like I know just for myself, like you want a change of music. Like you're listening to the same genre for a few weeks, you want to switch it up a bit. But no, I totally agree with what you're saying. Which, if you had to pick a few or one, which musicians do you look up to? Lewis, you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. I'm going to give you one name and one name only. It would be a sin if I said more than one name because this guy I just really look up to. And his name, yes, Luca's looking. He knows who. I think everyone does. Dennis DeYoung. He's just underneath in the musician. Every keyboard player should look up to him. He has the sweetest voice. His vibrato is so natural. It's like he's not even trying, and you get that natural like wave, right? Of just like the change in pitch, right? Just awesome. And on top of that, he has amazing soloing skills. I mean, the solos he's brought to Styx has just been amazing. They're sweet, they're punchy, they're powerful, they're just amazing. And debatably, he's the best songwriter for Styx. I mean, all those ideas he threw to them. I mean,
so Styx must be your favorite band because you brought them up twice now.
Yeah, they are. But I think Dennis DeYoung is my favorite if I had to choose one.
Very cool. Very cool. How about you, Timothy?
So this band, in general, will all say Styx at least once. It's kind of like a united thing that we all have in common because we all went to go see Styx together. But for me, outside of Styx, because I want to not be the normal one here, it's not stick to the norms in this band. Billy Joel, I absolutely love Billy Joel. I've listened to, you'll be hard pressed to find a song from Billy Joel that I don't know every word to. And I love newer music too, like not pop. I'm not into hip hop or that kind of stuff. I'm more into the alternative rock bass, like your Panic at the Discos. I've seen them twice now. Just are bands like that. Like bands that blow me away vocally or musicianally, if that's even a word, I don't know. But musicianship wise, all of those things, that's what I look for.
Awesome. Familiar names to me, Billy Joel, definitely have heard of him and heard his music. Addie, what musicians do you look up to?
Definitely Todd Zuckerman from Styx. I watch his videos all the time. He's great, literally amazing. And even Alex watches his videos all the time. So you can tell we're all big fans of Styx. And we've even seen them live, so that makes it better.
Now you have to be up there performing with Styx. Is that a future goal? Opening for Styx?
Yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, for me, it's Peter Frampton because for a long time before I, really got into his stuff, I had a huge fascination for the talk box and, and stuff like that. I always wanted one. So then when the band started to learn Do You Feel Like We Do, I said to my dad, well, now it's an excuse to get one. So once I got one, that was another sort of game changer for me when we were playing. And then and a huge memory is we played in front of my school of I think over like 1,000 kids, and we played Do You Feel Like We Do, and then we played Show Me the Way by Peter Frampton as well. So that's always going to be a huge moment for me as well.
And what was it an instrument? Did you say talk box?
Yeah, it's almost like an effect where there's a tube that goes up to your mic, and then you put your mouth on the tube and make shapes with your mouth that makes a really unique and interesting sound.
Okay. I think I've seen that a little bit on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, there's a few artists that use a talk box. Very cool. Yep. And is that a new piece of equipment, or has this always been around for a while?
No, not at all. Mainly these days, mainly keyboard players use them these days.
Yep.
But back then, very popular with Joe Walsh, Peter Frampton, Richie Sambora of Bon Jovi on guitar.
Awesome. And how about you, Luca? Who's your favorite musician that you look up to?
I have to give a little bit of a shout out to Paul McCartney because he's just an insane all-around musician. But if I had to pick my favorite, it would probably be Geddy Lee of Rush, because he is like, when I try and replicate his bass parts, it's the amount of time and effort he puts into it, and it still sounds that good, because a lot of his bass lines are just from him jamming in the studio, and it ends up being like amazing, and it fits the song so well. And he's amazing vocalist and keyboardist as well, and he's probably my top musician.
Very cool, very cool. Lots of some musicians I've actually never listened to the band Styx before, so I'm gonna have to check this out after. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing that I don't know who Styx are, but they sound pretty cool. I guess as young teens and preteens, you've been traveling a lot in the past few years. I believe the band started officially in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So you've been traveling a lot.
That sounds about right, yeah.
I've heard there's over 250 shows performed. You've reached millions of people online through Facebook and other YouTube, different platforms like that. How are you able to balance all of this fame and also going to school as young people?
Well, I've always said, I think I've said this a lot to my teachers as well. It's like, when we do all these, great shows and have all this fun in the summer, it's the summer and you have, nothing else to do. So during the week you do, your normal things everyone likes to do, and then on the weekend you go and play. But then, when school comes back, you do play a little bit less, but then there's also the weekend where, student by weekend, musician by weekend. So that's kind of the balance that we do.
Work during the day and party at night. Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if you needed a reason I couldn't tell you, you just do it. Nike says it's the best. I always dedicate, an hour-ish, roughly, give or take some minutes, depending where I need it on certain days, towards music. But I usually have plenty of time for homework, conversations with friends, family, etc. So, I mean, the good thing about being in a band is it teaches you that there's no such thing as not having time. There's 24 hours in a day, and all you need to do is dedicate a couple hours to that. So, I mean, you just need to know how to manage it. And that's prevalent in setting up and tearing down. That teaches you time management really well. You want to get the heck out of that place and get home and get a good night's rest. You better hurry up tearing down. So it really teaches you how to really just control your time, because we all can. It's in us. So, I can balance leisure, but at the same time, put effort into this band. And I like that,
Great piece of advice for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's not something like, there's no formula, right? Like, you can't, in my opinion, you can't formulate life, because then it just becomes boring. Live life to the fullest. You can't just put everything in, I'm going to do this here and do this here. No, you kind of just have to get a feel for it, right? Like, even when we wrote our album, I always had a hard time just sitting down and writing whatever it was that we were writing. I couldn't do it. It had to be just spur of the moment for me personally. And that's the way that I work. But I know some people that do that really well, but it's just not me.
I
And
agree a
speaking
lot
of-
with Tim there, actually. You got to take one day at a time. That's how I do it.
And you mentioned groundwork, so we need to plug that in a bit. That was released this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it
That
features 7 songs that the band wrote it. You wrote it yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's a completely original album. It's a 7-song EP that was released in March 2022. So this year, and the lead single we put into a song competition called CBC Searchlight. It ended up winning the fan vote portion, and we've sold a ton of CDs. They are available on our website, and it's also available on iTunes, Apple Music, and all streaming services.
Yes, visit leavethosekidsaloneband.com. Get a CD for what I believe is $20. I don't know the prices, but I just sign them.
And especially after having such a great and busy summer traveling and stuff like that, like right before we got to do the great music video for Where She Was during March that won the competition, but then we're also really excited to do more with the album and make more videos music videos for the other songs as well. So we're really excited to do more with the album, because other than doing Where She Was and being super happy with that success, we could do so much more with it as well.
And I just want to ask a quick speed question before we jump into our final question. Where's been your favorite place to perform so far?
You know what? I would have to say the Barnyard. I mean, just amazing hospitality. We were not lucky with the weather. Both times it rained. But I got to say, the fact that the people who hosted us there, the owners of this place, they're the warmest people. I don't think I've met warmer people. It just felt like family I've never seen before. We walked in there. They didn't look like strangers. You could have a 2-hour conversation, which we did after the show. We were talking with them as if we've known them forever. So you know what? It was just the fact that we could play at this very, very well-known amphitheater, but still get to know these people. It was out of this world.
Neat. Very cool. Timothy?
Yeah, I'll have to double with the Barnyard. It's in Sharpsburg, Kentucky, so it's a bit of a hike. And then we were like, oh yeah, we have to leave at like 7 a.m. the next day. And we finished playing at what? What time did we finish playing? It was like
8 o'clock.
10, 9.
Probably got back to the hotel by 12 o'clock.
We got back to the hotel at like 12:30. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a great night's rest here. We're gonna leave at like 6 in the morning and go to our next gig in Ohio, which was like a 6-hour drive away for the afternoon. And then we ended up staying there until like midnight. So
it broke my heart because we went there in September again, and we were on a time crunch. Like, we left that place and we went to Sydney, Ohio, stay the night, get back home. Driving close to home. We were on our way home, basically halfway, and they were kind of bummed. They're like, can we talk to you guys? Like, spend some time. And we're like, we got to get on the road now. I'm sorry,
They like Canadians.
They did.
Yeah.
What can I say?
How about Addie? Where's been your favorite place to perform?
Pretty much every gig that we played in Kentucky, like the Barnyard and what was the other one called?
Jackson County Fair.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
yeah, Mickey.
Yeah, and pretty much like all like campgrounds, because they're always dancing, and that makes us play better when they're dancing. And yeah, just pretty much like, I don't know, like all the ones in the States and campgrounds.
Nice.
You just summed
Alex.
up every single gig.
Well, yeah, for everyone's gonna say Kentucky, because when we went down there for the first time, it was like magic. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. It was such an amazing experience for all of us. And when we went for the second time, it was amazing too. So first time we went and we played the Barnyard, which was so fun. Like, the nicest people there you'd ever meet, the nicest sort of venue. And then the next time we went down, we played Jackson County Fair, which is probably tied as like my favorite with the Barnyard, because one, super nice people over there. They had, food and stuff for us, and that was, super nice. But this great small little town had thousands of people in the little park we were at, playing on this amazing stage, and that is my favorite by far. I love that. And then we played the Barnyard the next day again, which was also super fun.
Amazing. Luca?
I'd love to be unique here, but I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, Barnyard and the other two in Kentucky, because they were just like they're all, the other four said, it was amazing. It was surreal to get there the first time, to get there the second time. People were still, the so nice, such nice people. And even the other gig that wasn't the Barnyard, same thing. They were just so warm and welcoming, and it really was top moments for, I think, all of us so far.
I will say, Luca, if we do play at Red Rocks, I know that's going to be your favorite. Luca's very interested with Red Rocks.
And locally, I'll just say, for me anyway, so to give Windsor some credit here, I like Can-Am Games was an amazing show for me, in my opinion, because we're on the stage by the water, and you pass by it on your bike when you're riding down the water, and you're like, oh, I want to play there so bad. So then when we got to play there and there was a ton of people, that was an amazing experience for all of us, and I love that as well.
Well, and I must add, it must be pretty cool. Like, nobody your age or in your class can say, yeah, I got a gig in Kentucky this weekend. Like, who says that? You know what I mean? Like, that must be so humbling to know that, like, your age, or you're performing in different states, and have really expanded the band so much. So it's inspiring to me as well. Now, my final question: what are some of your future aspirations? Do you all want to be musicians? Is this something you'd like to just pursue full time, or do you have other side gigs that you want to start with when you're, I guess, a bit older? Lewis?
Well, if this works out, I'm probably just gonna finish post-secondary, because why not? If it doesn't work out, I'm probably gonna finish post-secondary, because why not? I know that I can to be honest, I think I'm able to balance working for a university degree and still being in this band at the same time. Like, my cousin, I don't know if you know him, his name is Jake Diab. He's a part of Autumn Kings. He got his university degree while touring with the band. I mean, I know some of my teachers, they're teaching a 7-hour class, 7 hours worth of class, and then gets home and is working for a university degree. So if they can balance the time, I should as well. Now, if I did get a degree, it would probably have to be in business. And then I'd, start up my own business, or maybe work in the stock market. If you asked what I wanted to be last year, though, I'd probably say an engineer. But after taking my physics class halfway through, university physics is not fun, and it's not fun. So, sorry, Miss Allen, but I'm not going to be a physicist like you.
And you know what? I actually interviewed you said he's your cousin, Jake Diab of Autumn Kings. That was I think it was in 2020. They were actually one of the first groups that I interviewed. So wow. I figured with the last name Diab, you must be related somehow. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Timothy?
We found Lewis through Jake. That's how we found him. We found Luca through Jake, not whatever.
We have similar names. You get it mixed up. Big deal.
Yeah, we just call them both Lou. They both reply.
Yeah, so, Alex all the time.
Hey, Lou.
I love you for that, Alex.
Which one?
Lucas, there you go.
So I'm currently at St. Clair College for journalism. So I want to go into sports reporting if this doesn't work out. So yeah.
Which it will. So you don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Addie?
Well, I'm definitely going to probably stick with being a musician, but if that doesn't work out, I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do. I've never thought about that before. But yeah, definitely sticking with being a musician.
Very cool. Alex?
Yeah, for me, I just hope, and I will, work extremely hard to, become a professional musician and be, famous around the world. But, if that doesn't work out, I would obviously want to do something in music that, if being a rock star doesn't work out, but then, going into something like engineering also seems cool to me as well.
Nice. And Luca.
We're all striving for the musician, but as a plan B as a plan B, I'm thinking of going into tool and die. But again, if I end up going into tool and die, it'll be a loss because this is the main career path that we're all looking for.
Well, all of you will definitely achieve those goals, and I can see y'all being you're rock stars now, but I can see you with maybe some mullets and some crazy costumes. But no, it's super cool to see young people in a band and playing not just the music that I guess majority of our generation's playing, but you're focused on classic rock, and it requires a lot of talent and a lot of practice, which I can imagine. Would any of you teach music in the future, or maybe you already teach music?
I could see that because that would be a career path of something music wise, like high school music teacher. That could be on the table for me as well.
Very cool.
If I can guarantee that I don't have anybody under the age of 12 and people that can actually pay attention, absolutely. The problem is guaranteeing that.
Good point. Awesome. Well, I want to thank each of you for your time today. I know you're extremely busy. Where are you headed to next? Where's your next performance?
Strong Street.
Oh yeah, Strong Street, Bow River.
There's so many you don't even know. Good thing you have
our next indoor one is Chatham, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Great.
I just get in the car and then we go.
Yeah, exactly.
You get in the car.
What time are we leaving? Okay, bye.
Awesome.
Day-to-day.
Well, thanks. Oh, sorry, Luca.
No, I was just saying, yeah, it's a day-to-day to see what gig we're playing.
Exactly. Well, thanks for making the time, and to those that are tuning in tonight, appreciate you being here. Post your questions in the comments if you have any, and myself and or members of the band will try to get to them. But thank you for being here. You can watch the recap if you're interested on coffeewithcrainer.com. This is episode 95. I'm your host, Lyndon Crane. Thanks for being here tonight.